Hello soulmates, it is indeed a pleasure to have you on my channel once more. If this is your first time checking out my channel, my name is Melissa, and on this channel I show you how to do DIY fashion at home. Today I will be showing you how to make a wrap dress. Now there are many different ways you could achieve a wrap dress, but today I'll be showing you one method, in my opinion a very easy method, in order to sew or calculate a wrap dress. So let's get started. For this project I'll be using this fabric that I have. It's a cotton fabric and it's sort of stretchy. It has a little stretch in it, which is okay. So the calculations that you're gonna need, seeing that this dress is going to be in two parts, you're gonna have the upper part and you're gonna have the lower part. For the lower part I decided to use the half circle method because I believe that I have shown you how to calculate half circles, and there are other ways to get the bottom half of this dress by maybe doing an A-line method, but I haven't taught you how to do those methods as yet. So today I'll be using the half circle method. So what we're going to do is that we're going to work on the upper part first, and then I'll show you how to get the lower part. Now for the upper part, these are the measurements you're going to need. You're going to need your nape to your waist measurement, mine is 16, your bust measurement, your shoulder measurement, and your waist measurement, mine is 34. So let's get started. So here I have, I'm going to put this aside until I'm ready. I'm going to draft the back of this pattern first. So what I did was that I divided my largest measurement into 4 and add about 2 inches or so, depending on how much allowance you want. So in this case I have folded about 13.5, which is quite enough. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to start with a straight line, which I did here. That is my shoulder measurement. Now I'm going to impute my armhole measurement, which is 8.25. Remember, you have to calculate that. To get your armhole, you divide your bust by 6 and add 1.5 inches to that. So mine is 8.5. So that's what I have here. And now this is from my nape to my waist, which is 16 inches, and I added half an inch to sew the bottom of the skirt to the top. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to input my measurements. So my shoulder, you do your 3 inches, 8 inches standard, right? So 3 inches, 8 inches, and you go down 1 inch. You should be familiar with this since we've been using it so often. Okay, so my waist is my shoulder is 15, so divide that by 2, I get 7.5 plus half inch for seam allowance, and I'm gonna put that same measurement on my chest line, which is 8 inches. So I'm going to connect these two lines here. Okay, so now I'm gonna divide this, find the midpoint, and I'm gonna go in for the front because I'm gonna cut 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna cut the front and the back using the same pattern. Okay, it's much easier that way. Then I'm going to connect this part here. And also I'm going to connect this here. Okay, so now I have my armhole. So now at your waist, you're going to input your dart measurement. So my bust span measurement is 8 inches. So I'm going to put half of that, which is 4 inches. Okay, and I'm going to put the same thing here. I'm going to connect that line. So for my dart, I'm just going to take an 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, and for the back, I'm going to go down 1 inch, and I'm going to find my bust point from here for the front. So that is 10.5, which is right here. So I'm gonna go down 11 inches or so, just for the front. I hope you understand what I did, because the front and the back dart are different. So that's the back, since I'm drafting both on the same, right? And this is the front, so when I'm sewing, I'll know exactly how to treat that dart right here. Okay, so now I'm gonna put my measurements. So half of my bust is 10 is 4. My bust measurement is 42. Quarter of that is 10.5, and I'm gonna add 1/2 inch for ease, plus 1 inch to sew it together. My waist is 34. A quarter of 34 is 8.5, right? Plus this 1 inch dart, 9.5. Okay, plus 1 inch to sew it together. And I'm gonna connect all these lines. Okay, so this now is your pattern for the back. So now for my back, I'm going to go down 1 inch, and I'm gonna make my neck width, I don't want it too wide. I'm gonna make it 3.5 inches, so which is here. Okay, and I'm gonna connect that. So this won't have a zipper at the back, so you don't have to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna connect that. And remember, you need your 1/2 inch seam allowance to sew it, the shoulders together, which is here. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to connect my shoulder seam allowance. So as I said, this is the back of the wrap dress. So I'm gonna use the back to cut the front. So I'm gonna cut this out. So you cut the back first. So this is the back. So this is the back. So what I'm going to do, since I have, so this fabric is also folded in 2, and I'm just gonna use this as a guide to cut out the back panel. Okay, I'm gonna use it as a guide. So I'm gonna put this, on it like this. And I'm going to cut out the back. Okay, so I'm going to use that because I want to preserve this dart. I want to keep this dart so that I know where to actually, when I'm cutting the front. Oh, because I don't want to keep redrawing the dart. So now I'm gonna use this and cut the back out. So that's what I'm going to do now. So you place it just as how you did the front, you fold the same amount. Okay? So now I'm going to cut this out. Ensure that they are the same, because you don't want to make a mistake with this. You don't want to make a mistake with this at all. Cut out. So now this is my back. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to mark my darts. Okay, so right here would be my dart. Mark it on both sides. Okay, so now when you do that, you're going to notch the dart so that when you're sewing, you know exactly where it is. On here. Don't notch it too deep so that it goes in the 1/2 inch that you want. So now I'm gonna put this aside because this is our back. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna put my lining, cut my lining just the same, because I'm gonna use this black fabric to line the upper part. Okay, so I'm gonna put this aside and I'm gonna work on the front. So now this is our front part. So the first thing I'm gonna do, just not to make any mistake, is cut out my armhole. So I went ahead and I cut out my armhole. Sure that you have it correct. Okay. All right. So now this is your front. So because this is a wrap dress, it's gonna come from here over. Okay, so what you're going to do is that you're going to notch the middle of the dress, notch the middle of it. So my middle is right here and I'm gonna put a notch there. Okay, so now you're going to determine, because I want the dart, I'm going to do it on this side. Okay, because you're going to cut off a 1/2 of this or some of this in order to get a lap. What you're going to do, you're going to go over about maybe 5 inches more. So from your middle, go over 5 inches and make a mark right there. So now you're going to determine how low you want your wrap to be. I don't want mine too low so as to expose my boobylicious. You know what I mean. So since from the back I went down 1 inch, you're going to put your 1 inch there, right? And you're going to determine how low you want your wrap to be. I want mine to be about maybe 5.5 or 5 inches, 5.5. So it's gonna be there, about here. So at your the 5-inch mark that you went up, remember that this dress is going to have a wrap, meaning that a belt is gonna pass through and it's gonna be tied at the side, as what I have here, my little illustration. So I'm gonna need measure 1/2 inch to sew this to the bottom of the skirt. Plus I'm gonna need 1/2 inch at the top to turn my facing or my lining. So that's 1 inch. Plus I'm going to need a band height of 1.5 inch, so that's 2.5 inches. So I'm gonna go up 2.5 inches okay, which is there, okay. So that is from the 5-inch point that you went in. You're gonna draw a line. So now what you're going to do is that you're going to connect, right? If you want a curve, you're going to connect this point to this point here. So you're going to maybe connect this here. You could use freehand for this, right? And then you're going to bring it all the way down to this point. Okay? If you want it more curvy, you could go for that look. Use this part mostly, right? So you're going to have something that looks like this. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cut off this right here. Okay? So I'm going to cut this off. You could make yours curvier than this. It depends on you, what you want, okay? Okay, so this is useless. You don't need this anymore. So what you're going to do now is that you're going to take this half and you're going to place it on another piece of fabric. Okay, so this is and you're going to place it right side facing each other, or you could place it left side facing each other, but either way, whatever you're doing, it has to match, or else you're going to run yourself in a little problem, and you don't want that, right? So now I'm going to place right sides facing each other like this. Hope you can see this very well. You're going to place this right sides facing each other, and then you're going to cut it out, okay? And that's what I'm going to do now. Okay. Remember to notch, so you know where the dart is. And also, since this is the front, and I'm gonna go down as not to let it, so I'm gonna redraw this so that I know where to start. Okay, so I'm gonna make that notch right here, or make that mark so I know where my dart stops. Okay, so this is what you have. Also notch the middle because you're gonna need it. Okay, so this is what you have. So whenever you open your, so this is what you're going to have. All right, so this is the front part. So what we're going to do is that we're going to cut our lining just the same, so that to finish the facing part of it, and then you're going to attach your belt. So I'm gonna put my belt on my long belt here, and I'm gonna leave a hole through the middle here for it to pass through, and then I'm gonna wrap it around and have a shorter belt here so that I could tie it to this side. Right? I hope you understand that. So this is the front. and this is the back. So I'm gonna set these aside and let's talk about the lower part of this. So now for the lower part of the dress, all right? So for the lower part of the dress, remember I said that we're going to use the half circle method that I taught you how in previous classes to get the lower part. So what you're going to do, we know that my waist measurement is going to be 34. You're going to add an extra 10" to that. Why did I add 10" to it? Because on the front part of my dress, remember I went in from my center point at this point, remember? I went over by 5 inches, right? And that 5 inches is just for one part. So for the other part is an extra 5 inches also. So that's 10 inches. So that's why I had to add 10 inches to my waist measurement in order to get my new waist. Okay? Because remember, this is gonna have a lap, or it's gonna be a wrap dress. So what I did, I divided this 44 inches by 3.142, which is the formula that we will need in order to find our radius, right? So if you are not sure what this is, you could check out my video on how to cut a half circle skirt, where I went in detail showing you what this is and how we achieved it. So now we see that our radius, after dividing 3.142 by 44, I got 14 inches, right? So that's gonna be my radius. But the length of the dress that I need is going to be 25 inches. So to know how much fabric you're going to need to fold on, you're going to add your radius to the length of the dress that you want. Mine is 25 inches and I get 39 inches. So here on the bottom part of this fabric, this is my fabric, okay? And I went ahead and unfold. This is 40 inches, right? So I folded it and it's 40 inches. So ensure that you have the amount that you need on the folded section and also on the width of the fabric. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to make a triangle. Watch my video on how to cut a half circle skirt and this will be very easy for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold on a triangle to make it easier to manage. Okay. So here I have folded my triangle, okay? I really do hope that you understand what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm going to take the length of my dress, the lower parts, and we said that the length of the dress is going to be 39 inches. So I'm going to make it, let's see, 40 inches. So that I'll have seam allowance. Okay, so from the tip, so I'm working from the tip now. You start from here. You're going to take your 40 inches. Okay, so that is right here. Ensure that you have it folded very well. You don't want to make a mistake. I'm working with a very small space, so bear with me. Okay. So I'm taking my 40 inches. So you're going to connect all those lines there. That's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna cut this out. I actually reduced it a little. There you go. Very good. So I'll have this still for my band and maybe my sleeve. Okay, so now I'm going to take my radius. So my radius is going to be 14 inches. So that's what I'm gonna do now. So 14 is here. You're gonna take it all the way around. You're going to connect all those points. But then you have to add your 1/2 inch seam allowance, remember, because you're going to attach this to the top of your clothes and you do not want it to be too big. Okay, so you add your 1/2 inch. Careful not to do too much. So this is what you have. Alright, so this is the middle. I'm gonna notch it there. That would be the back, center back. Okay, so this is what you'll have. Okay, this is what you're going to attach to your top half. So I will show you how to sew this together. So for the waistband, how much you're going to get your waistband. Okay, so remember you're going to have 2 waistbands. You're going to have the height of the waistband is going to be, so I said 1.5 inch, so it's going to be 1.5 plus 1.5, which is 3 inches plus 1 more inch, 4 inches. So the height of your band is going to be 4 inches, right? So unfold, you're going to have 2 inches, right? Because you're going to need 1/2 inch to sew the waistband up, and then you're going to be left with 1.5 inches in order to let the belt pass through. So you're just going to, for one of the belt, I think I'm going to do about 20 inches length for the short one. And it depends on you how long you want your belt. It really depends on you. For the short, I'll maybe do 25. And for the long one, I'll do about 50 inches or so. We'll see. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut out the waistband now. Okay. So I'm gonna cut this off. So this is what you have. Okay, you're gonna fold it. You're gonna sew it like this and all the way down. Okay, for both ends. I think this is gonna be enough. If not, I'll join it to get the longer piece. So if this has been helpful, do not forget to give me a giant thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the sewing aspect of it. Bye.